Yeah, it's your boy DJ Wolf. I got a couple things on my mind here. First item up for bids. If you hadn't already heard by now, I just read it a little while ago, about a couple hours ago. Probably someone in my office that mentioned to me. Robert Griffin III, also known as RG3, has officially been cut by the Washington Redskins today. They made the announcement sometime early this afternoon that RG3 is no longer part of the Burgundy and Gold out here in the DMV. So that gives him opportunities to go elsewhere. There's 3 teams. 2 of them, I think one was the Chiefs, and I know the other one's the Cowboys, and I think the third one was the 49ers. I heard that has some interest in them right now. So that's what's going on with that. I got a couple things I want to say about it right quick before I move on to the next item for bid. Honestly, RG3, they weren't going to give him a chance anyway. Number one, the way the Redskins had that gameplay set for RG3, it was destined for, he was set up for failure. He really was. And I've noticed that with most of the black quarterbacks that have ever played with the Redskins, it's always been the same way. The same setup. They get the black quarterback to sell the wolf tickets, and then as soon as they decide, we want to try a white guy and we'll get a black guy a chance, they set him up. Boom. And RG3 was doing really well the first year, man. He was gangbusters. And the reason why I mentioned that, because I knew it's the same thing with Cam Newton. Cam Newton was winning games left and right. All of a sudden, he goes up in the Super Bowl against Peyton Manning, who was already, I think, that's the other news. Peyton Manning, I'll get to that in a second. They were looking to allow this guy to ride off in the sunset. That whole thing was a setup. I'm still pissed about that. Because that game, I knew Cam Newton could have won. He could have easily beaten them. They know that. But somehow or another, they had to set the scenario where Peyton Manning's team was going to ride off in the sunset. And really, offense didn't win that game at all. It was completely defense. If it wasn't for the defense of the Denver Broncos, they would have lost that Super Bowl. There's no question in my mind. They weren't all that offensively. Neither team was really, but Denver just had a better defensive team. That's a fact. But I'm just saying, to me, it looks like they're setting up these black quarterbacks for failure. And I see it happen one too many times over the years, man. It's just over and over. Every time you get a hot prospect and black quarterbacks, they want to work them to death. That happened with Michael Vick as well. Get him in there. Oh, yeah, you got to win Super Bowl. You got to win Super Bowl. You got to win. RG3, same thing. Got him to playoffs the first year. And then, they wore him out the second and third years. They didn't really give him a chance. They didn't really work around his gameplay. And that's really what kind of messed him up. But I think, personally, as far as RG3 goes, I think he's going to do way better once he officially gets on another team. I hope he does too. I'm really hoping and praying that he does better than he did here, because really they didn't give him a chance. They didn't give him a chance that he should have got. He's only 26, and he's still got a lot of years left in him as an NFL player. I just hope another team give him a better opportunities for him to excel better than he did when he was here. So. And the other story about Peyton Manning, of course, the setup continues. Before I get to that, I know I talked about the Super Bowl 50, which was, to me, I think I regard it as one of the worst Super Bowls I've ever seen in my life. It really was. It was terrible. But anyway, Cam Newton should have. That game was all his for the taking. And you could tell by the way he played, especially in the second half, that game was just full of BS all day long. Which, of course, led them to allowing Peyton Manning to win his final Super Bowl and ride off in the sunset. Speaking of that, today Peyton Manning made his announcement that he's retiring from the NFL. Look what happened here. If that, I'll tell you right now, like I said before, if that Super Bowl wasn't set up, nothing was. It was a complete sham. The biggest sham I've ever seen in my life. But of course, very few people called it out. And I'm going to tell you right now, that Super Bowl was a sham. I'm going to say it again. That Super Bowl was a complete effing sham. No doubt in my mind. Sham. All day long. All day long. Hey, I also heard about the GOP and Democratic conventions. I mean, not conventions. I'm sorry. The debates continued last night. They said Hillary and Bernie Sanders were going in on each other last night. I didn't get to hear all of it. Hopefully, I can get a show done this week so I can actually talk more about it and get more in depth about it. But I wanted to talk about something else. I don't even know if I should even be talking about it on this platform or not. But I'll put it like this. As you guys know, I said one of the things I was going to try to do was get more involved in the church. I mean, I've been a church, devout church member for a number of years. Particularly the last 3 years, I've really been getting back into it. And I enjoy going there. Actually, yesterday was the first Sunday that I've been in about three Sundays. Last Sunday we were going to go back, and the power went out. The week before that, it was too cold to go into church because we didn't have any heat. But last Sunday, our power went out in my house for a while. They didn't officially restore the power back to our area until after 10:30, so we decided not to go. Of course, one of my church members come to me talking about, well, you could have did this, you could have, and I'm like, really? I'm thinking, yeah, I probably could have did that, but I wasn't going to do it because I didn't know how long the power was going to be out. And I'm like, why church people do that? I mean, really? I'm going when I go. And this woman who's telling me this woman is retired. Okay? She don't have to worry about having to go to work the next day. I do. Okay? So, who are you to be worried about when I go and when I don't go? I'm there. I probably go more than half the people she know to go there. But that's another story. But anyway, I was talking to somebody, a friend of mine, who actually had a similar experience. Wasn't quite, probably not that similar, but he was telling me about why he's to a point where he's going to just stop going altogether. So, what are these fools doing? Do you know what you're doing? You gonna say all that damn time, you goofy fuck. And I hate these people. Jesus. You cannot drive around here, man. Anyway, a friend of mine was telling me, that he's seriously considering not going to church anymore. At least not at the church that he's going to. He told me that he was actually in church, and he happened to be, he knows the pastor and the family very well. Him and his wife, they're all, they kind of know each other. But really, they're closer to his wife than they are him. So he just recently started back going. And he was telling me that he actually spoke to one of the pastor's adult children, one of the sons. What the son, I think, according to what he was telling me, the son was, I guess, his only son that actually works for him at his church. And so he spoke to him, right? He said, hey, how you doing? Looked at him, I guess he was like like 2 rows back, but he was in plain view, and he was just like a couple of seats over. So he just looked at him. He said, pastor's son looked at him, and instead of him opening his mouth, once my friend spoke to him, he just kind of like did like a slight nod to his head, and he held up his 2 fingers, like how the young kids be holding the fingers side, like how we used to hold the peace sign up, where they hold the peace sign down. And that's what that's the kind of shit he was doing, man. And I'm like, what kind of mess is that? You're supposed to be very much an adult son, pastor's son. He's he's older than my friend, and he's doing some mess like that. And I'm like, really? You know, and it got me to think. I said, you know what? Based on what I had to deal with yesterday, based on what my friend was telling me, it's like, you know, you kind of question some of the people who, you know, motives, especially people who supposedly up the, you know, had strong church-going members. You kind of question the motives sometimes, man. Especially when they know that you're going there, you know, you're a black man, and you know it's hard to get, you know, at least over the years anyway, it's been hard to get more and more black men in church, you know. But to sit there and do that and kind of slightly harass people like that, you know, especially, you know, when, you know, you're trying, you know, you're trying to really be cordial with them, and they're throwing shade on you for no reason. But they figure, well, I got the wife and I don't care about them, you know. I mean, it's really absolutely silly. It's silly. It's really downright silly. And now I know why I stopped going 30 some odd years ago myself, because I actually dropped out. I actually stopped going to church for a while myself. My mother to this day was like, well, you know, which is true. I did used to teach Sunday school, and I served on the junior usher board, and I was a junior deacon, and I sang in the choir. I emceed a number of programs in my church over when I lived at home for 6 years. I did all of that. I went almost every Sunday for a number of years. I hardly ever missed church, man. But it was just the point, you know, that you kind of feel like after a while, man, you got people just, and they're just harassing you, man, or just like kind of like frown on you for some strange reason or another. You know, you don't have that sense of, you know, camaraderie or, you know, that togetherness or bonding. And sometimes I feel the same way. You know, he told me about that pastor, and I, you know, that pastor's son acting like that. He, you know, you really question that fool's motives. You know, sometimes you question people's motives like that, man, because you don't know what they're up to. You know, and somebody told me one time, you can't trust everybody that you know in church. You can. Not everybody in your church is your friend. Not everybody you think is in your church is your friend. You want to believe that. You like to believe that, but you can't. You know, I've seen things happen in my church the last couple of years I don't really want to talk about, and I think I'm going to keep it private because I think it should be left that way. You know, because it made me question the church, not God, but the church itself. You know, really did. Because I don't, you know, sometimes you don't know what people's motives are anymore, man. You really don't. But my friend was telling me, he said the pastor's son kind of, like, he kind of got it in for him anyway. I don't know. He said, you know, I don't know what he meant by that, but I guess because they don't get along or something. I don't know what the beef was or whatever. But like I said again, you never know, man. People, they do some shady stuff, man. And it doesn't matter where you're in church or not, you know, or outside church. People are shady, man. You know, you want to trust your brethren, you know, your black brothers and your sisters, man. Sometimes you don't even know who your friends are anymore. You know, and I was over at a friend of mine's house over the weekend, and they were telling me, you know, her fiance, well, they're married now. They just got married, I think, 2 years. They've been married 2 years. And they was asking me, so you got any, you know, you ain't friends, family? I said, no, I don't. All my family don't, you know, but told me, you know, where my family lived at now and all of that. And so I was asking me if I had any close friends around. So I tell them about my, you know, that my closest friends, you know, died over 10 years ago. Almost 10, well. And like I said, unfortunately, I don't have any, you know. I said, the only friends, I didn't tell them, but the only friends I got really are my friends on the podcast. You guys are my friends, as far as I'm concerned. You know, because you listen to me, and I appreciate that wholeheartedly. And I respect each and every one of you for doing that. You know. But I told him that because, you know, I told my son, maybe, you know, I said, you know, find maybe go at dinner sometime, you know. But like I said, I don't get an invitation out to everybody. I really don't. Because, you know, in this world, man, there's very few friends I have. My friends are very few and far between anymore. You know. And sometimes I'm like, wow. I kind of feel like I should open up. My wife's like, well, my wife used to say years ago when we first started dating and stuff, she kind of felt that I was low on the antisocial side. I'm not an antisocial person. I'm really not. I just don't trust everybody I know. You know, everybody you know ain't your friend. You know, like somebody said on the radio, not everybody your kind is your friend. Not everybody who claim to be your friend is your kind. You know, and same thing goes with us as African Americans. You know, just because you're African American don't mean that, you know. I mean, and I'm not saying about everybody, but just because you're African American, to me, that doesn't mean I can trust you. You know, or if you're white, same thing. You know, it doesn't matter. But not everybody's your friend is your friend. Or not everybody you think is your friend is your friend. So I can be somewhat apprehensive, man. You know, it's just me. It's just something because I've been friends with people. I had a friend of mine who used to live out in the, used to live in the DMV. Their family since moved, and he had lost his wife years ago, and after his wife had passed away, he wasn't the same person. You know, and after a while, I mean, it got to a point where I almost got in trouble fooling with this dude. You know, twice in the same night, matter of fact. So I kind of had to cut him off. You know, I didn't want to deal with that mess. I don't want to jeopardize my freedom of my family for this fool. If you're gonna act a fool, couldn't deal with it no more. You know, couldn't deal with it no more. Didn't want to deal with it. You know, if you acting like that, I just move on. You know, and I try to tell them all that. I said, you know what? Sometimes I try to be friends with people. Some people I think that are really going to be really good friends. Trying to be people who are later try to burn you later on down the road, and that's happened. That's happened before, and that's why I kind of stay to myself. You know, I dealt with fools like that before. I said I don't want to deal with that no more. You know, that's just me. You know, I tend not to trust a lot of people. I really do. You know. And, you know, in a way, it's heartbreaking because you would think, you know, that you could trust your own people. You can't. You really can't. It's a shame. And I don't. And I'll be honest about that. I don't. I really don't. But nevertheless, I just had to get that off my chest, man. You know, there's other things I like to talk about, but not right now. I get to it on the back burner. And it's your boy DJ Wolf here. In any case, this is your boy DJ Wolf. I got, like I said, other stuff on the back burner. Any questions or comments, debates, you know, whatever's on your mind. Any suggestions for my podcast, for my show, for all to hear at for all to hear at gmail.com, for all to hear at outlook.com, for all to hear at YouTube, or for all to hear TV on YouTube, and for all to hear on Twitter. This is DJ Wolf. I'll talk to you later.